bookers, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and tonight I've got another book talk video to share with you guys. And tonight we're doing a book tag video. I saw this on my friend Chloe's channel. Her channel is called Always Booked, and it's the End of the World book tag. And I thought it was interesting, especially during these times where we're living in now, to have a book tag called that. And I liked the way it was worded. It like takes sort of end of the world apocalyptic scenarios and then ties it in with a question about a book. So we're just going to jump on into it. Of course, I will link in the description box down below Chloe's video so you can go and check it out. If you love book related content, definitely subscribe to her channel. I really enjoy her videos and she's just lovely, so you can't go wrong there. All right, so let's get into these questions. The first one is an earthquake. Earthquakes separate the ground into multiple pieces. A favorite book with multiple perspectives. Now, of course, there are so many great books told through many perspectives, but the one I'm going to go with for this is one of my all-time favorite books, and it's called The Hours by Michael Cunningham. It's told from 3 different points of view, 3 different women in 3 different time periods. And it's a book that I just loved so much and has stuck with me after having read it many years ago. And if you haven't read it, it's one I would definitely recommend. They also made a movie about it like a while ago now at this point, probably in the early 2000s. And that was starring Nicole Kidman, Julianne Moore, and Meryl Streep. So I mean, star-studded. And one of the perspectives is that of Virginia Woolf. And I mean, if you're a book lover, you're probably at least a little bit familiar with Virginia Woolf. But even if you're not, it's an interesting place to sort of dive into her story. And yeah, it's just a great book all around. Number 2, an asteroid. You can see an asteroid coming before it hits. What book did you see the plot twist coming way beforehand? For that, I'm going to go ahead and say Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I got that book actually in the Dublin airport when I was flying home a couple of years ago, and I called that twist, the sort of twist ending, the first time we encounter the situation. If you've read the book, you know what I'm saying. But the first time the main character talks to another character, I knew the twist was coming. Eleanor Oliphant's one of those books that was so hyped up, and then when I read it myself, I didn't love it. And maybe that's why, but you know, often I can, you know, I always say when you read a ton of books with a lot of twists, now whenever I start reading like a thriller or a mystery, my brain starts spinning with all the craziest theories I can come up with. And oftentimes I'll peg it. I love when I don't, but when I do, it's fine as long as it's told well. And I just didn't get that from Eleanor. I don't know. I thought I would love it. It seems like something I should love, but it just didn't do it for me. Number 3, an epidemic, a disease that everybody seems to be contracting. What book does everybody seem to be getting that you don't want? So I'm actually going to steal a little bit from Chloe's answer for this one. And she said Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer, and I would definitely have to agree with that. To give a little tiny bit of backstory, just in case you're not familiar, Stephanie Meyer was the author of the Twilight book series that came out, in the early to mid 2000s. I was a bit old at that time. I was in my nearing late 20s, and I just didn't get on the hype. I didn't get the hype. I feel like I was a little too old, whereas it seems like every teenager at that time just loved it, and I'm sure if I was a teenager I would have loved it too, so like no judgment or anything. But I can remember walking into the bookstore at the time when it was out and when the movies were beginning to be released, and just the books being plastered everywhere, and there was like book merch, and that wasn't really a thing I had seen before, especially not in like a local bookstore. And I was just my mind was blown by it, and I actually got a little excited because I was like, yes, book merch, that's what I want. Not for Twilight, but I loved the idea of book merch, which now of course there's many different series that have tie-in merch, but yeah, it was new to me at the time. So anyway, I'm getting off track here, or rambling at least. Earlier this week or last week, Stephanie Meyer released the book Midnight Sun, which is Twilight, the first book of her series, told from Edward's point of view. So the original books were told from Bella's point of view. This is that same time period, but told from Edward's point of view. Not interested in that, but I understand. If I had been a kid and loved those books, I would be all over Midnight Sun. Another one, this one's more sort of in my wheelhouse of books I'm sure I would love if I read it, I just haven't, and that's Where the Crawdads Sing. I know this was really popular when it came out. I think it was also one of Reese Witherspoon's book club book picks. And even a couple of months ago, I got a text from my aunt and she was like, have you read this? And I said, no. And she's like, oh, you should, it's great. And I just haven't picked it up, but I'm sure I would love it if I did. Have you read it? Let me know. And let me know if you would recommend it. And I'll have to get on that. Okay, number 4, a tsunami. Tsunamis flood everything. What book flooded your thoughts and you couldn't get off your mind or stop thinking about? Well, that's easy. There's been a ton, but I'm going to try to stick to the most recent one that did that to me. And that was My Dark Vanessa by, I think her name is Kate Elizabeth Russell. That book, that was a lot. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great book. But it was a lot. It's about a young teenage girl, I think she's 15 at the beginning, who begins having an affair. I mean, if you can even call it that when the girl's so young. But she gets involved in a relationship with a much older teacher. I think he's in his 30s or 40s at the time. And I would read a chapter or two of that, then put it down, go do something, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then when I finished the book, it stuck with me for days. Even now, I'll find myself doing some sort of menial task and then find myself just thinking about it. And every time I think about it, my stomach drops into my feet and I just get the same feelings all over again that I got while reading that book. It's intense. But it's good. But no, it's intense if you go to read it. Number 5, Nuclear War, the Battle of All Battles Between Humans. Favorite human fight in a book. Now, I must say that I tend to read mostly the thrillers or, you know, suburban dysfunction or dramas. I don't tend to read books that have a lot of battle scenes. But one I will say that sticks with me and is fitting with this tag actually is the Book of M by Ping Shepherd. And it was sort of a end of the world post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic story. And it was great. And it had some really intense fight scenes. And they were mainly intense because they felt so important. The stakes were so high. And I just really loved that. So we'll go with that one. Alien Invasion, best sci-fi novel. Again, I don't read a ton of sci-fi. And I don't even know if the answer I'm going to give you fully counts, but we're going to stick with it. And that's American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I loved that. I love that a lot. I love a lot of Neil Gaiman books that are they're sort of a little different, and I'm sure they don't fit under the sci-fi category, but it's the closest I can think of right now. Don't at me if you disagree. Artificial intelligence is number 7. Robots, computers, technology taking over the world. Favorite book you've read on any sort of e-reader? Well, if you've been around this channel for a while, you know that I don't have an e-reader like a Kindle or anything like that. But recently I read 2 books on my iPad. One was called, hang on, I think it was called Dark Angel? That doesn't sound right. Hang on. me just check here. Let's see what else called. The Familiar Dark. I don't know why I thought it was Dark Angel. The Familiar Dark, which is great. And then most recently I finished Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. They're both great. But for this I'll pick Out of Love by Hazel just because I thought it was so good. It was just that kind of book that I love to read. And finally, question number 8 is end of the world movie. End of the world / disaster movies will continue to be made in Hollywood, just like booked movie / TV show adaptations. What book adaptation are you looking forward to? So I'm going to cheat on this one a little bit. And I'm going to say an adaptation that's already been made based on a book I haven't read yet. And that is, the book is Normal People by Sally Rooney, I think her name is. It recently got made into a Irish TV show, which is currently airing in Canada on the CBC, I think. And you can stream it on CBC Gem. CBC Gem is a free streaming service where you can go download it, watch any CBC shows, and there are a lot of great ones. Working Moms, Schitt's Creek, Normal People, plus others. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I can't wait. It looks like it'll be right up my alley, and I've heard from a lot of people whose opinions I tend to agree with in terms of books. You know, we like the same sort of books and shows, saying that they thought it was fantastic. So I can't wait to watch that. I'm going to read the book first. For the longest time it wasn't on Amazon, at least not Amazon Canada, at least for me. But now it is for like $10, so I think I will give that a try soon, hopefully, and then do a book talk on it, and then watch the show, and I can't wait. So there you go, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, do check out Chloe's channel. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend. This week was kind of sparse for videos, I know. I kind of just needed a few days to turn it all off, you know, just shut it all down. But we're back now on Monday. There's going to be a new vlog. Wednesday, paranormal video. Friday, a regular book talk video. And then probably Monday I'm going to have a poll up on my community tab where you can vote for the next book that we read now that we are done. Emily of New Moon. We did that. We read a whole book together, you guys. I love that. So yes, be well, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye guys.